Whether you loved it or hated it, 2023 was very much about the colour beige in interiors. But luckily enough, things are changing, and in 2024 we've already seen hints of a lot warmer and richer colours that are on the horizon, and I'm super excited today to share some of the best colours predicted for 2024 that have also been confirmed by experts and interior designers in their fields. So let's get stuck into the video. These are the colours you should be using in your interiors in 2024. Now, in a nutshell, it's what I've been speaking about on my blog for the last couple of months. We're seeing a transition from your cooler neutrals, such as your beiges and your greys, into warmer, more modern, richer neutrals. And this has been seen across the board with paint colours that have been announced, such as Dulux, who announced Sweet Embrace, which is a pale off pink colour, and we're seeing it with lots of other brands on the market as well. But I am super excited about this. I like beige, but only in a small extent. I don't like it when it is being used in the entire interior. It lacks visual interest and it's just bland. So I'm super excited about these colours, and I've seen a lot of the colours in person. I went to Decorex in September, which is one of the biggest international interior design trade shows, so I got to see firsthand some of the colours that the paint brands were bringing out. So I'm gonna jump right into one colour you've probably seen bandied about a little bit already, and that is brown. Now, I know what you're thinking, brown, I mean, who wants their whole room to be covered in brown? But oh my god, it literally looks incredible in the right tone and in the right setting. And I'm going to pop up some examples on the screen that I've been using on some blogs over the last couple of months, just to show you how amazing it actually does look in an interior. Now, the key here is to layer with different colours for that really sumptuous look. And I'm going to show you one of my favourite colours right now. And actually, Little Green has come out with a whole collection called the Sweet Treats collection, which is basically colours that are inspired by some of our favourite desserts and confectionery, and they have absolutely nailed the colour palette on the head for 2024. Now, one of their colours, which I absolutely love, I mean, there's so many different ways you can take brown. So you can either go for sort of a lighter, sugary coloured brown, or you can really go into those deeper, more decadent, or what I'd call more indulgent tones of chocolatey brown. Now, coming in here, we have Galette. Now, this is what I'd call sort of, we're verging on the lines between a terracotta orange and a brown here, but this one's absolutely beautiful. And you'll note above here the sort of more warmer modern neutrals that they've got in the collection as well, and these are actually a really nice move away from sort of your beiges and your creams. And then in terms of darker tones of brown, you could go in really at the deep end for Ganesh. Now, this colour it's not for the faint-hearted. I love it. It's got some deep sort of red undertones to it. Now, if I was to use this, I would use it in somewhere like a cinema room, and I would colour drench the room in it, because it's not as heavy as a black. It's got warmth behind it, and it would just create the most cozy cocooning space. But you can equally give this a go in a bedroom as well. For me, I'm leaning more towards the lighter shades of brown, but using darker shades as more of an accent in the space, whether that's with half wall paneling, you want to do a feature wall, or perhaps you just want to zone an area sort of behind a mirror with the brown of your choice. There's loads of other browns in the market. I'll actually put some in the comments below that I really like. But Sweet Treats, please do check them out. They're a little bit more expensive, but you can find some good colour matches, or you can even do the Valspar colour match service with B&Q and try and find like an alternative, which is going to cost you a little bit less money than the Little Green versions. Now, 2023 was also the year that we saw a lot more terracotta shades coming into the interiors, more notably on floor tiles, which I absolutely love. But this year is getting a little bit braver. We're actually moving towards rusty red tones all the way out from your deep oranges and terracottas. Now, I actually love terracotta. It's one of my favourite colours. Rusty red is a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I have seen it in settings again. I'll put some examples on the screen. I've been doing lots of colour research over the last couple of months, and there's some really gorgeous examples of how you can use red in your home. Now, I'm not talking about your Crayola typical ABC red colour, primary school colours, whatever you call it. We're talking about shades deep rouge shades, and this is so important when it comes to picking the shades of the colors I'm talking about. A red shade or a grey shade, there is hundreds and hundreds of different variations, and getting that right red shade is going to be so important to nailing the look in your interior whilst it also still looks really, really stylish. Now I'm going to use Little Green as another example because they've totally nailed their collection, and I love this colour. This is called Muscovado. And it's just this sort of really deep, rusty, burnt red. Now, I would go out in a living room with this colour. I would do half wall shaker style paneling. I'd do this colour on the bottom half, and on the top half, I'd probably have a almond coloured off-white, just to lift it, but you've still got that coziness that wraps around you, and I really, really love it. Now, I also really love Farrow & Ball Red Earth. It's an absolutely gorgeous colour. If you're looking for something a little bit cooler, Dulux do lots of different sort of terracotta ready shades as well. I quite like Copper Blush, which is a nice shade, and if you don't want to go into that too red territory, it's a really nice medium, and I personally love terracotta. I just think it looks fab in a rustic, earthy, modern interior. Now, moving away from those super dark shades, which I absolutely love, sage green is still reigning supreme, and I don't think green is going to be going anywhere anytime soon. Sage green was undoubtedly one of the most popular colours. It just looks incredible in any setting in an interior, whether it's on a bedroom wall like I've got behind me, in a kitchen with terracotta floor tiles, or in a living room for that cozy restorative feel. Now, there's just something I love about sage green. It's colourful, it's warm, it's not in your face, it's restful, it's restorative, it's really calming, and I just absolutely love it. Now, I've got so many different recommendations of colours. Again, I'll put some in the caption below. If you want something a little darker, I really like Dulux Heritage Sage Green. That's a gorgeous shade. What I've got behind me is actually being colour matched by Farrow & Ball Chromati, which I really like. It's a slightly lighter sage green than some of the others on the market. You've also got things like Farrow & Ball Mizzle, which is really beautiful if you want to spend a little bit more money, but honestly, there's so many cheaper alternatives. So you've got Dulux Willow Green, which I really like, and it's just perfect whether you want to do a feature wall like this, half wall paneling, you want to colour drench the room. It's not going anywhere, but I would just recommend that if you're using sage green in your interior, do layer it with differing colours as well, just to build up the visual interest. So you can incorporate darker shades of green such as olive green or forest green, which are also going to be more on trend in 2024 as well. Now, while sage green is still popular, olive green I think is going to become even more popular in 2024 because it just brings a greater sense of depth and character to a space than sage green does. It can also be a nicer alternative if you don't want to use something like a charcoal grey or a black, because it has got that grounding feel with it. You do have to be a little bit careful about what rooms you use olive green in. If you've got a north facing room or you've got a narrow hallway with little space, it can suck any light available and make it feel even darker in the space. Of course, if you do want to lean into that darkness, go for olive green. It's such a beautiful shade, and if you do like earthy rustic style interiors, it's a brilliant shade because it works so well with natural tones such as wood, rattan, browns and creams. Now, if I had to give one suggestion of a colour, it's got to be Dulux Overtly Olive. It's affordable, it's got beautiful coverage. I've used it and mentioned it in a number of my blogs and videos on this channel before, so do check it out. Tester pots are like £2 or £2.50, so yeah, I'll leave that in the comments below for you as well. Let's talk about baby blue. Now, baby blue has always had quite a rap in an interior. People often consider blue as being very cold, it's for coastal properties only, and baby blue is best reserved for baby boys' nurseries or baby girls, and I personally disagree. Blue is on the rise. I'm just going to pop a picture up here to show you how amazing it looks in an interior. And again, you don't have to use blue on all of your walls. You could create a half wall look like this with wallpaper. You could have another colour above it. You could do paneling with white above it. I just love it. I mean, I personally might give it a go in a bedroom project I've got coming up. I just think it looks amazing, and there's so many different blues on the market as well. Wait until you see blue paired with brown in this hallway, which I'm just going to pop up here. Oh my god, it looks amazing. It's one of those unsuspecting colour combinations that just works, and it makes me literally want to redecorate my hallway with brown and blue like immediately. It's seriously good. Now, another colour that has been making an unsuspecting return, a little bit like a red, is one of those colours that you're like, oh, I can never imagine that in my home at all, is heritage yellow. And again, we are not talking about your primary colour yellow, we're talking about a mature, an aged and a gorgeous modern neutral, which is heritage yellow. Now, to give you an example of what that looks like, I'm going to pop another one on the screen from Little Green, and it's Madeleine. Now this is stunning. I've seen examples of colours like this in hallways, in bedrooms, in kitchens, and it just looks amazing. If you do have a north-facing room, you've got a cool space, a yellow like this will not only brighten it, it's going to add warmth, but it's got depth to it as well, because it's got that maturity behind it. Now, I actually prefer this to sort of like creams and beiges. I'm bored of them. Now, this yellow, just imagine, you could pair that yellow with any of these colours in their collection and they'd look fab. Like, I absolutely love it. It's also a much better alternative to magnolia, where magnolia can sometimes just feel like a rental property and very sort of sickly and yellow, whereas this heritage yellow, it's got depth behind it, it's got character, it's a much better alternative, and if you do want to play it safe, it's much better than a beige or a white, which can make the space feel flat. Now, in case you're worried, beige isn't going anywhere just yet. However, it's going to be here in a more warmer, modern neutral than we've seen before, and it is beautiful. Now, beige interiors to me are just beige. They're bland, they lack personality, but when we look at beiges, which are a bit more warmer, they're a bit more modern, they can really take over an interior and feel quite luxurious and classy. Now, one colour that always springs to mind is Egyptian Cotton by Dulux. It's warm, it's modern, and it's beautiful. And if you do want a more expensive colour with a little bit more depth behind it, Skimming Stone by Furrow and Ball is literally the perfect, almost perfect colour match. I mean, you're obviously going to get better quality with a Furrow and Ball paint. It's going to go further. You're not going to need as many coats. But these two colours are ones that I'd really describe as that sort of warm, modern neutral. And lastly, I have got to mention pink. Now, pink can be classed as a warm, modern neutral, just like beige does. And Dulux actually released Sweet Embrace towards the end of last year, which was a really gorgeous, warm, modern neutral, but it has something that's sort of cocooning and really cozy about it. I'll pop the colour on the screen for you to have a look at now. It looks amazing in an interior, and it can be a nicer alternative to a magnolia, a beige or a white, because it brings that warmth to it, but equally it looks great in both north facing and south facing rooms. It's got a metamorphic quality to it as it changes colour as you look at it in different lights, and that is why it's so important to always grab a tester pot if you're looking to use a colour like this in your interior. And I have another pink to show you that again is just beautiful. If you want a really muted, almost blush pink tone without it being overtly feminine, Mochi from Mochi from Little Green, I mean, look. This is absolutely stunning, and again, you could contrast it with this gorgeous brown, which is their ganache if you don't want to use something like a black, but again, it does look great with all two of these colours. I just think pink is a really fun colour for an interior. It doesn't have to be overly feminine in a space. You can introduce these darker colours so you create a really sumptuous colour scheme. I really love it in a bedroom, even a hallway, for a really inviting feel. I look at paints every single day for what I do on Sleek-chic interiors, and from all the paints that I've seen, this is the colour palette that has literally come out, and I've just been like, this is literally the colour palette of 2024. They have literally got it so spot on. We're already seeing these rusty, richer, warmer tones in interiors, and I absolutely love it. So I always say experiment with the colour, and if there's any better excuse to experiment, it's at the start of the new year. We've got some gorgeous new colours and colour schemes to choose. Now, if you want any more inspiration, I've linked some of my blogs below, which are all about 2024 trends. I've spoken to lots of experts in the field to get their feedback and what they're seeing going through to 2024 as well. If you have any questions about specific colours, or you'd like any other suggestions on colours that you want to use, please do leave me a comment below and I'll come straight back to you. But other than that, I hope your 2024 is fabulous, and I can't wait to see all of these beautiful colours in your homes over the coming year.